My name is John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. And we are a Spray Happiest podcast. I am John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. And we have a company called John Creative Socks. And John Creative Socks' mission is to spread happiness.
So here we are. We got a business with the mission to spread happiness.
Yes.
And we have a podcast with a mission to spread
Yeah,
happiness.
a podcast.
Okay. Well, folks, it's good to be with you for another week. And let me tell you what it's about.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
We're going to spend about 30 minutes. And what we want to do is put a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
John and I will banter back and forth some. We're going to share some ideas that are on our mind. We're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about our tour of Literary Huntington, where we live.
Yes.
We're going to talk about making Special Olympic socks.
Yeah, I love Special Olympics.
We have our usual features of highlighting a good news story of the week, and we got a good one this week, and highlighting a business of the week. And it's one of our favorite businesses in the whole world.
Whole world.
Spectrum Design.
Spectrum Design.
Patrick Bardsley and his crew do amazing work. Plus, we have John's Jokes.
John's
Jokes. And a little bit more for you. We appreciate you being out there. You know, much of what we're doing and everything we do, we want to show what people with differing abilities can do. So John here,
yes,
in addition to being a comedian,
I am,
and an entrepreneur,
yes, I am,
and a public speaker,
I am. I'm speaking now,
and a philanthropist,
yes,
and an athlete,
I am an athlete. I'm a Special Olympics athlete,
and a dancer.
I am a dancer.
You have Down syndrome.
Yes, I am. I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome, I never hold me back.
It certainly does not. And, folks, a little more throat clearing here. Would appreciate it if you like this. Go out there and give us one of them reviews. Or if you listen, whatever platform you're listening on. John loves hearing those 5-star reviews. And that helps us reach more people. Subscribe so you get it every week. And you can share it with a friend. We love it when people share with a friend, right? That's a lot of what we do. So, here's an example. We sell socks, as you might get from John's Crazy Socks.
John's Crazy Socks.
We do same-day shipping. We look to create customer experiences. So you get a bright colored package when you get socks from us. And what do you put in every package?
Every package I get a signature from me and candy.
And candy. And here's where, we love giving things to friends. What candy do we give out now?
Right now we put in a lollipop.
And how many lollipops go in every package?
2.
Why 2?
Why 2? One for you, one for a friend.
We want to share all the time.
Absolutely.
That's how we think, right?
Yes.
You put a thank you note and candy in every package.
Absolutely.
You see the name and the picture of the person who packed your order. Boy, you get a little dose of happiness every time you get something from John's Crazy Socks.
Yes.
But we're not really here to talk about that.
Okay.
Though, when we talk about the candy, I can't help but talk a little bit about what we did. When we started, when did we start the business?
We started December 9th, 2016, on that Friday.
Oh, it was a Friday, just the two of us, right?
The two of us.
And we put candy and a thank you note in every package from day one. And what candy did we start with?
We started with Hearty Kisses. I cannot find. We got an email from the woman down south. You can't put soccer down south.
Right. It was fine sending Hershey's Kisses out. We would pour lots of them in, sending those out in the winter. But once the weather started getting warm, so then we moved to M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean...
Because when I was growing up, John, they used to always do this commercial, melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
Right.
But it turns out M&Ms get awfully soft and squishy when the heat is on. So then we moved to what? Skittles.
Skittles.
And we sent out more than 300,000 packages of Skittles.
Right.
And we wanted to do something with the Mars Company. They're the people that make Skittles.
Right.
And we spoke to the right executive at the Mars Company, and we said, hey, why don't we do a cross-promotion? We're giving away your candy. We're introducing it to people. And he thought about it. He said, oh, I like all this. But, we work with NASCAR and the NFL, so we're not going to work with John's Crazy Socks.
Right.
Disappointing.
I know.
So no more Skittles. We said, why are we buying all those Skittles for?
Right.
And that's how we got to lollipops.
Yes.
And we had some folks saying, well, only give out one, or you only need one and save money. We're not looking at that.
Yeah, it's not a part of the mission. We always putting them 2 lollipop, one for you, one for a friend.
All right, so that's pretty good. We talked about the candy.
Yeah.
So we recently, our family, took a literary tour of Huntington.
Yeah, we did.
And now we live in Huntington.
Oh, yeah, we live in Huntington.
And
I love
where
Huntington.
Where is Huntington?
Huntington is a 20-minute drive from here. It's a part of...
Well, where is it? It's on Long Island.
We're in here, Long Island, yes.
Outside of New York City. John, you've grown up in Huntington.
I grew up in
And we
Huntington
started
forever.
our business in Huntington. I grew up in Huntington.
You grew up at Huntington Station.
Huntington Station. Should I tell that story? You don't like it sometimes.
Yeah, I do like it. You get ahead.
So I grew up in Huntington Station, South Huntington. And when I was 19, I set out for the world. And I said, I'm never coming back. Well, lo and behold, in 1997,
Yep.
we bought a house up in Huntington Bay, part of Huntington.
I love Huntington Bay.
And
It's really good.
said, because we had been moving around a bit, and by then we had 3 children. Your older brother was in the 1st grade.
Right.
And when you move with little kids, if you move 2 blocks, their world is upside down. So we agreed we would stay in one place until you guys graduated high school.
Right.
That was the promise. There were some times when it felt a little bit like a trap.
Right.
Now, you may not remember this because you were young.
Oh, yeah. I am very young. I'm very young.
But I came home once. I had this interesting job opportunity in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah.
And I came home and I pitched this to the family. I said, it would be a great experience. I had found lacrosse clubs where your brothers could play lacrosse and American football clubs. They could play they could continue to play football. And I said, it's a great experience and exposure.
Yeah.
And we'll just do it for a year.
Yeah.
And everybody thought about it, your mom and your brothers and you. And they looked at me and said, Dad, we think this is a great idea.
And when you get there, it says a podcast.
Yeah, when you get there, send us a postcard. Because we're not going. But then, John, your brother Patrick finished high school, and your brother Jamie finished high school.
Yeah,
And
he
we're
did.
waiting on John. And John got 3 extra years.
Yeah,
You got some postgraduate years in high school.
absolutely. Yeah, I
So,
did.
okay. It's now 2016. You're in your last year of high
Yeah,
school.
gonna be my last year.
And your mom and I, we're thinking, where can we go? Because we are moving out.
Okay.
We're
okay,
ready to leave Huntington, leave Long Island. But
Yeah.
we started John's Crazy Socks.
We started our own business.
And the good news is the business took off faster than we expected.
Yeah, we did.
And so we started hiring employees, and we got a warehouse, signed a lease. And here we are. And you know what this means?
You gotta die.
I'm gonna die on Long Island. And it's funny, we live in a strange world sometimes. We've had offers. The city of Boston wanted us to relocate there. The state of Texas wanted us to relocate. And they were offering cheaper electricity and tax breaks. And it's like, wait a second, people. What are we going to do? You mean we're going to go out and tell our colleagues, guys, we're moving to Texas because the electricity is cheaper. And oh, by the way, you all lose your jobs.
Yeah, that is nonsense.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, absolutely not.
So here we are. We have moved. We started in a temporary space. We knew it was temporary space in an old house in Huntington that had been converted to office space. And it was built, this house was built in 1741. You've heard them say they don't build it like they used to? Be grateful. There were undulating floors. Remember that place?
Oh, yeah.
You get up from your chair, and
painted.
your chair would roll away.
Yeah.
And there were two stories, and there were two stairways going to the second floor. And they were both very steep stairways with low ceilings, and they were tilted.
Above my father's head.
Oh, I was banging my head all the time. That was funny. And then we outgrew that pretty quickly, and we got space in Melville. And then 2 years ago, we outgrew that. We moved here to Farmington. More warehouse space.
Right, absolutely.
You like it here?
Yes, I do.
It's good.
Oh, I can tell one story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was very funny. In the winter, I went a space in Huntington.
Oh, in the old place.
At the old place.
Oh,
it snowed. We stuck in the office.
We stayed there.
We stand there.
To make sure we could get orders out.
Orders out. I tell you really funny. My parents and I sleeping in the office. And I go upstairs. I went into this hallway.
On air mattress.
An air mattress. I got an air mattress. And my dad is working downstairs here. I can come to bed. He passes right down an air mattress. Oh, what is it?
I fall down onto the air mattress, and your mom goes flying. It was like a cartoon. That was good. All right, so.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So anyway, Huntington. We live in Huntington.
Yeah, we live in Huntington.
For Christmas, I gave the family a gift. I like doing experiences. A gift of a tour of Huntington, a literary tour of Huntington.
It's a lot of fun.
Visiting some of the landmarks from some famous and great writers.
I'm learning a lot, and I love history.
And it's interesting. There are some writers that have had a profound impact on American culture and American literature here. So the first place we visited was the Joseph Lloyd Manor.
Yes, I love Harper. It's a lot of fun.
Now, this house dates back to the 1700s, and what drew us there was Jupiter Hammond. Jupiter Hammond was a slave. And we frequently think only of slaves in the South, but there were slaves in the North, slaves on Long Island. But he was the first African-American to publish a poem in the United States. He published several poems, he did preaching, but he was kept as a slave. And it was a very strange existence. So we went up there, we visited the house where he lived, where he was kept as a slave. That was impressive, wasn't it? So that was our first stop. And then we visited Huntington's probably most famous resident ever. The poet who was proud, you might say is the greatest American poet. You certainly would say he's the most important American poet. And who's that?
Sorry?
Whose house was that?
The house that...
the museum and the house out back.
Oh, yes, a woman.
Walt Whitman.
Yes.
The bearded one. Now, Walt was born here in Huntington, but when he was 4 years old, his family moved to Brooklyn.
Living in Brooklyn.
Now, the Whitmans were all around. There were a bunch of different Whitman houses here, but Walt and his family, he was the second of 9 kids, moved to Brooklyn. But he came back So he finished school at 11. He worked at different print shops and newspapers in the city. And then when he was about 17, he came back out to Huntington and he worked as a school teacher. And in those days,
Right.
he didn't stay in one place. He was what was known as an itinerant school teacher. He would go from town to town teaching classes. And Walt started a newspaper,
Wow, that is amazing.
the Long Islander newspaper, which is still in existence today. So, I've had a tight, Walt has had a big impact on my life. And because I grew up here, when I was a kid, a teenager, I used to go over before they had the museum and stuff and sit on the steps in the evening and read his poems. And he writes a lot about Long Island, and he calls it Paumanok, which is the Native American term for Long Island. So we visited Walt's house, and then we drove past some other places. One was a French writer.
Yeah, French writer, Little Prince.
He wrote The Little Prince. Antoine Saint-Exupéry, I think that's how you say it. He fled France when the Nazis took over, and he lived out in Ashokan in the summers.
Right.
And while he was out there, he wrote The Little Prince, which was one of the most popular books ever made. And then we drove past 3 different houses.
Oh, yeah, Backrack.
Jack Kerouac.
Right.
Jack Kerouac of On the Road and Dharma Bums and Subterraneans. Jack was an interesting man. In the 40s and 50s, he traveled around and, did these cross-country trips with his friends, and he started to write about them. And in 1951, in a burst of energy and creativity, he wrote the book On the Road. That became one of the most influential books of the 20th century. That book inspired me on my cross-country trips. But he wrote it in 1951. It wasn't published until 1957. And when it was published, it brought Jack all sorts of fame, and he wanted nothing to do with that, though it also brought him some money. So to escape some of that, he moved out here to Northport.
Right.
Bought a house in Northport. Continued to write. Unfortunately, Jack was a drinker, and he had a drinking. He was an alcoholic. But he wanted to live this peaceful life and not be known as the famous king of the beats, but just be Jack. Made lots of local friends. And he would hang out at Gunther's 3 or 4 days a week, the pub in Northport. I've had you in Gunther's, because I take you to all the finest places.
Yeah, we did.
And it was a sad thing about fame. People used to come out and climb in the windows and knock on his door. They didn't leave him alone. That's why he kept moving houses. And he lived out here in Northport for 6 years. And we didn't pass his house because he asked us not to, but we also spoke about a contemporary poet, George Wallace, who's been recognized around the world. And you know what? He's still connected. He organized a reading of Jack Kerouac's Big Sur, which he wrote while living in Northport. And he's been the writer-in-residence at the Whitman birthplace.
Right.
And he edits Walt's Corner, which publishes a poem each week in the Long Islander.
Wow.
So all these connections. Did you like that tour?
I love it.
It's really great to be able to connect with history in your own town. And there's a lot of richness here. That's pretty cool.
This is really amazing.
Now, you got some socks you want to talk about.
I do.
What are they?
Well, I did a new sock come in. Did a bit of a pick sock. One of them is, oh, I love this. Did a basketball.
We have basketball.
I did track.
Track and field.
I'm
And,
going to show them.
right, the people that can see the video.
Track. And
Soccer.
soccer.
So let's explain some of this. John, you are a Special Olympic athlete, right?
I am. I am better than a pick athlete. I love
You
Special
love-
Olympics.
Yes. And we'll tell you that if there was no Special Olympics, there would be no John's Crazy Socks. When did you start playing Special Olympics?
I started, I was 5 years old, like 2001.
So this will be your 24th year, 23rd year playing
Yeah.
Special Olympics. We have watched you grow and gain confidence. What do you get out of the Special Olympics?
Sorry?
Well, what does Special Olympics bring for you? What do you get out of it?
I had to be coach. I learned discipline. I learned to be creative. I fall. I pick up again, and I learned sportsmanship
And teamwork,
and teamwork.
right? And plus, you have a lot of fun.
A lot of fun and a lot of leadership.
So we do a lot of things to say thank you. That's part of, what's our mission?
Our mission is spreading happiness.
And what do you say are the keys to spreading happiness?
It's gratitude and do for others.
So one way we show gratitude is by giving money to the Special Olympics. So we pledge 5%
Yeah.
of our earnings. Plus we've created products that raise money for them. Our Sock of the Month Club, if you join that, 5% of that goes to the Special Olympics. But John wanted to do more. And you had this idea of making socks for all the sports. So that's what we've done. We've made a line of athletic socks to honor the Special Olympic athletes and the sports. And we're going to make one for every sport. And so we started with soccer, basketball,
and track.
And you do all three of those sports.
I do.
And you do a fourth sport. What's that?
I do snowshoe.
We'll have to get you. The next round, we'll make a snowshoe.
Oh, I want to give it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I love it, Dad.
So that's pretty cool. You like this, huh?
I do.
Make you happy?
I make me really happy.
Yeah, because we have a different type of business model with that. Well, it's a social enterprise. We have both a social mission and a business mission, and they feed off of each other. We're looking to have an impact beyond just the bottom line. And it's not enough to just sell stuff. You got to give back.
Right.
You like giving back?
I love it.
So every quarter, John goes over and brings a big check to give to
Big
the Special
check.
Olympics. Okay. Well, this is a nice segue to talk about our business of the week. And what's our business of the week?
A spectrum design.
And we love these folks.
I love.
They also happen to be based on Long Island, though they now have an operation in Westchester.
Yeah, I went to Wellington.
Yeah, we've been there, we visited, we
Or a
love it.
great place.
Patrick Bardsley is the CEO there. We know Patrick well.
Yep. And my friend worked there.
You got friends who work there. You know what, Patrick, among other things, Patrick is a Bob Dylan fan. In fact, when we saw Bob Dylan over the summer, Patrick was at that concert.
Oh.
Because he texted me. He said, "Is that John dancing down in front?" I said, "That's John dancing down in front."
That's
So-
great.
Spectrum Design is a custom apparel and promotional product business. They'll put your logo or image on anything you can imagine. Pens, cups, shirts, hats, sweatshirts. They're all great. We've bought from them. And they are like us. They have a social mission. They are creating meaningful and inclusive employment and training for people in a neurodiverse world. And they focus on people with autism. So, like us, more than 50% of their employees are neurodiverse, have a different ability.
Right.
Now, here's a way that they differ. They're a nonprofit, so 100% of what would be profit goes to the expansion and hiring and training of their neurodiverse population. Patrick's a great speaker. He's joined the CEO Commission for Disability Employment.
Yep.
He's a strong advocate. They really do amazing stuff. And they have a great story. They started back in 2011 when the father in the family, Paul Kitsos, passed away. And the family created the Nicholas Center for Autism, named for their son Nicholas. And that's a social service organization that provides support and job training and job placement for people with autism. As they started trying to place people in jobs, they said, why don't we create something? So they created Spectrum Design. And it had 3 co-founders, Stella Spakanos, Nicole Segru, and Patrick Bardsley. And when they started, you know what they had? They had 2 people, 2 teenagers on the spectrum, 1 piece of equipment, and they worked in a barn out behind Stella's house. They've grown now. They got over 70 employees. They do over $7 million in business. They've expanded into Westchester. They are an awesome business. You can find them at spectrumdesigns.org. We put the link down below. But what a wonderful, awesome business they have. And then we have our good news story of the week.
Yeah, good news story about I Can Bike Camp.
So there's an organization called I Can Shine, and they run these bike camps all across the country for people with different abilities to learn how to ride a bike. You love that idea, don't you, John?
I love that idea.
And just this past week, down in Pennsylvania, they had an I Can Bike camp at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. 3,000 kids came out to learn how to ride bikes. Once again showing, look what people can do. What a wonderful, wonderful organization. That's a good news story. Huh? We'll put a link to a story down below about it and to the I Can Shine organization. All right, buddy. Ready for your jokes?
I'm ready for my jokes.
Let's hear your jokes.
Where do penguins go to vote?
Where do penguins go to vote?
The North Pole.
Oh.
Where do sheep love to vacation?
Where do sheep love to vacation?
The Bahamas.
Keep going.
What did one toilet say to the other?
What did one toilet say to the other?
You appear a bit of flush.
You look a little flushed.
How do you light up a sports stadium?
How do you light up a sports stadium?
With a soccer match.
With a soccer match. Okay, well, I'm going to match you with some jokes that are just as bad. Are black cats really bad luck? Well, if you're a mouse, they are. What cat likes to live in water? An octopus. You play video games?
Yeah, I do.
Why are cats great at video games? Because they have 9 lives. Now, I know you also love pirate jokes.
I do pirates. Yeah, I do.
Why is pirating so addictive? Well, they say once you lose your first hand, you get hooked. I got one more for you. What happened when Bluebeard fell, the famous pirate Bluebeard? What happened when Bluebeard fell overboard in the Red Sea?
Why?
He got marooned. What can I tell you, people? I think I hear people changing stations and leaving all across the world, John. You're not going to believe this. John loves his jokes so much. He's making a book of what?
I did. I write a book, Sean's book of jokes.
So be on the lookout for John's giant book of jokes.
Yeah, Dad.
You can get these jokes and more. Well, folks, another half hour has passed.
Yeah, we did.
It goes fast, doesn't it, John?
Yeah, I know.
We hope we put a smile on your face. We hoped we've lightened your day, brought you some good news. So, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
We put some notes down below, but if you want to find us, where can people find us?
Go at Sean'sCrazySock.com.
John'sCrazySocks.com. And you can find us on all the social media platforms.
Absolutely.
Just look for John's Crazy Socks.
Yes.
Well, thank you Again, we ask,
Thank you
If
so
you-
much.
if you enjoyed this podcast, go up and give us a review. Give us that 5-star review. Subscribe so you can hear from us every week. I don't know. And tell a friend. If you liked it, pass it on. If you didn't, let us know. We'll see if we can get better at this show. You like that?
Yeah.
You're always getting better. You're always doing it.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Till next weekend.
See you next weekend.
To next week, I mean.
Next week, I'm sorry.
Say good night, John.
Not John, not crazy.
Bye, folks.
Bye.